Hi, I'm Darryn Farrugia and welcome. I've been getting a lot of questions recently from drummers who have been following my single stroke roll journey, and the question that I keep getting is, how do you transition from the pad to the snare drum? Which is a very good question. You know, when you think about it, none of us are going to be professional practice pad players, and obviously there is very little point in practicing something if you can't apply it to the kit. By that I mean if you're only really good at playing it on the pad. And so I'm making that transition at the moment. It's only this week that I've started playing some exercises that I wanted to share with you. So here it goes. What you heard me play at the start of this video was me trading twos and trading fours. So what I was doing was playing 2 bars of time and then 2 bars of a single stroke roll on the snare drum as 16th notes. And then I did the same thing trading fours. So trading 4 bars of time with 4 bars of single stroke rolls on the snare drum. Before I get into the exercises, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the pad and the snare drum. If you play on a hard rubber pad, you're going to be a little disappointed when you get to the snare drum unless you got your snare drum cranked. It is actually going to feel a little different. The pad's giving us probably a lot more rebound than we're used to playing on the snare drum. And also remembering that, you know, the tuning of the snare drum is really more appropriate and adjusted to the type of music that you're playing or the type of song that you're playing. If you're playing a kind of lower tuned snare drum, then you're not going to get the same rebound out of that as you would from a practice pad. So I've been practicing on a few different practice pads, some pads that have no rebound, some pads that have lots of rebound, and practicing on surfaces that have no rebound at all. At the start of the year, for the first few months, I was practicing on a towel that had an old drum head sitting on top of it. So that had no rebound at all. So that develops the wrist. So a few things to think about with the snare drum. The middle of the snare drum is actually the deadest part of the snare drum, so you're not going to get as much rebound compared to when you move just away from the center. An example of that is this. To me, it feels like I'm just getting a tad more rebound the minute I move away from the middle of the drum. The other thing that happens is that you'll get a lot more overtone. So sonically, the middle of the drum is dead also. A little further away, you get a bit more ring from the snare drum. And I've got this snare drum sort of cranked pretty high, not really high, but I also have no muffling on it, so it's wide open. So I am going for that real open sound that you would hear from any kind of jazz, big band music, even early rock from, you know, the early 60s. Wide open in this case, lots of rebound. Now when it comes to using the wrists, the lower you play, the more wrists you have to use because you don't have the assistance of the rebound. So for example, if I'm playing a very quiet single stroke roll, it'll be mostly wrists. As the sticks get higher and I get louder in volume, then I can relax the wrists a little bit and just open up the hands a bit more so that it's not only wrists that I'm using. On this surface, using fingers, not so great. But I think that's more to do with the fact that my fingers are a little underdeveloped still at this stage. So the exercises are pretty basic. It's just finding a tempo that you can play a single stroke roll at comfortably for 2 bars. We're going to trade 2 bars of time. Now it doesn't have to be a swing feel. It could be a halftime shuffle or it could be a halftime rock beat or whatever. But it's 2 bars of time, 2 bars of singles. That exercise would sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the same exercise, just a tad faster. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. These type of exercises are what I would call short burst singles exercises. So just playing fast for a very short amount of time. I want you to think about it like a sprint. The difference between sprinting or running a marathon. Once you've done that exercise, I would suggest then going to 4 bars of time, then 4 bars of singles. It's pretty simple. Let me play this for you. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the same thing, a tad faster. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So the longer the burst, the harder it's going to be. So as I said, that's a bit of a work in progress for me, and I hope to improve on this. It's really interesting to feel the difference between going from a practice pad to the snare drum. So have a think about all of those things I talked about earlier in the video. And I would definitely recommend that at some point you do spend just a little bit of practice time playing singles on the snare drum. Just even short burst exercises like this are great to start with. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you can get something out of this, and if you liked it, please hit the like button. Remember to share it with your friends, family, enemies, acquaintances, etc., etc. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, and remember to hit the notification bell so that you know when I've uploaded a video, which is every week. So until next week, have a great week, and happy practice. See you soon. Bye. Let me just, I've got to wipe my nose. Sweating so much. Let me do that again. Oh, I'm so hot.